Within the effects library on the console, you've got lots of default profile effects, and they might do for 90% of the effects you might want to do for your show, depending on how complex it is. So for example, if I go and turn these fixtures on, I'm going to go and open my visualizer so that we can see those. If I want a simple position effect, I can go to position, and there will be various effects in here that will be suitable for me. But sometimes you want to be specific. Sometimes you want to get very specific on what your fixtures need to do in their effect. Now, in my example here, I want to create a chase where the movement of these fixtures uses my 3 palettes here. I want to go to position palette 8, position palette 9, position palette 10 that I've created, and I want those to just loop through. So I'm going to create that as a chase effect. To do that, what I'm actually going to do is get those fixtures how I want them. So I've got them in the full intensity and position 8. That is the first step of my chase effect. And I'm going to go and say record effects at the top. I'm going to go and give this effect a name. So I'm going to call this position chase. And I want to record this as step 1. Now, I can set step time if I want to. I'm not going to worry with that for now because we can look at that a little bit later. And I'm going to go and say, OK. There we go. That's recorded. So I'm going to go and say position palette 9, record effects. Automatically, the same chase is selected and step 2 is populated. So perfect. Yep, let's go and install that. And then lastly, step 3, let's go and choose position palette 10, record that as step 3. Click OK. And there we go, we're done. We've programmed our chase effect. So what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to open my effects editor as a full screen window. So what I'm going to do is just minimize my visualizer a moment, and I'm going to go and use the little drop down arrow here if it's not already shown to go and choose effects list, and that will take us to our effects editor. In here, first of all, the All tab will be selected. That's going to be showing us all effects in our console from all of the different types. So somewhere in here will be the effect that we've just created, but an easier way to find it is just filter by the effect type. And in our case, it is a position. We called it position chase, and we can see there our effect recorded. So if I click on that, we can see all of the information about this chase. We can see each fixture, we can see the information for each step for each fixture and what it's doing. I'm going to go and open my visualizer, and I'm going to go and run this. I'll just minimize my visualizer. I'm going to show you that. I'm just going to go and tap this play button here to run the effect. So I'm going to go and click play now, and my chase is going to start to run. However, only the first step has run, and that's because we now need to say how long each step is going to take, and that's using our step time. So I might want to decide, okay, well, each step is going to be 2 seconds to run. So I'm going to go and say 2, and I'm just going to go and restart the effect. So what we've got now is my fixtures are going to take 2 seconds for each step. They're going to go to the step, they're going to wait 2 seconds, and then they're going to go to the next step. But I might actually want to apply fade time to that. So I might want to go and say, well, I want the fade time to be 1 second. Whoops, not 11, 1 second, like that. And you'll see there that I've actually got these parameters on my encoder wheels as well. So now I've done that, you'll see that I've now got the step taking 2 seconds, but for 1 second of those 2 seconds step time, it will be fading. So at the moment, 50% of the time, those fixtures will be fading. If I want them to fade completely, I can just set the fade time to 2 seconds. And now essentially it's just going to be a complete fade. My fixtures are going to be fading, and as soon as they finish their fade, they'll be then moving on to the next step. And so that is how you can record a simple chase effect. In my example here, I've done it with positions, but you could have done it with intensities, of course, or colours, or in fact any other lighting state. You just create the lighting state you want, record effect, create the next lighting state, record effect, and it will then be populated here in the effects editor that you can then go and edit if you want to. And of course, whenever you now want to use this effect, it's in here that you're able to run. And if I wanted to, I could now go and store this into a queue. So I could, for example, now go and say record. If I go back to live, I've got my chase still running. I'm going to go and say record to record Q30. And you'll see there now that Q30 is referencing effects 19. That effects reference number, remember, that is auto-populated by the console. So you'll see there that my chaser effect has been given effect number 19 when we recorded it. And so that is the effect ID of that particular effect that we can see running now in Q30 because we've recorded that in.